Hello and welcome to a special edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. I'm Kevin Ochsner. We're glad to have you with us. This time around, we're going to bring you a special look at some of the programs, the activities, and the people of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. NCBA is the nation's largest cattle industry organization, representing cattlemen and women in every state. And with offices in Denver and Washington, D.C., the NCBA staff works every day on behalf of the beef cattle industry. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association traces its roots back to 1898. That's 115 years ago when cattlemen first saw the need to cowboy up to work on common issues, problems, and opportunities for the good of the entire cattle industry. With 64 state affiliates and a strong growing membership, NCBA represents a total of more than 230,000 cattle breeders, producers, and feeders. When we ask cattlemen and women why they value NCBA, one of the most common answers is because of the work done on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. Every day, the NCBA staff is working on the policy issues that matter to cattle-producing families. We learn more about the people who carry out those efforts from Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter.
You might not guess by seeing him in Washington, D.C., but Colin Woodall grew up in Texas cattle country. Now he spends long days working the phones and on Capitol Hill, advocating on issues that impact America's cattlemen.
Those of us on staff at NCBA, we work the Hill every day. Call it burning boot leather on Capitol Hill. And it's our job to go in and have relationships with members of Congress and their staff. Every vote, every bill, every piece of legislation that comes out of D.C. has an impact on your operation back home. And the only way to affect that is to come and get engaged and make sure that your member of Congress knows where you stand.
That is the real value of why they belong to NCBA, is that representation and that boot leather that we burn on Capitol Hill each and every day as a staff. That's what's most important to them and the value of their membership.
NCBA's Washington office is located right on Pennsylvania Avenue, and from here, Colin and his colleagues keep an eye on anything Congress and the federal government might do that impacts NCBA members and the beef cattle industry.
Washington, D.C. rarely sleeps. Congress is in session year-round. The administration is always in place, and they are always working on rules, regulations, or potential laws that are going to impact our members. So you can't just show up once or twice a year and expect to have a great impact on the process.
The NCBA Washington office is staffed by a group of professionals, many with cattle backgrounds, and together they have the skill to tackle any issue from animal health to trade, environmental regulations to tax issues. They press for the interests of cattlemen and head off legislation or regulations that could negatively affect NCBA members.
People are aware that we have the staff here, full-time staff, offices. We're engaging with representatives, House of Representatives, Senate, agency people on a day-to-day basis, and they know more and more that they need that back here to carry out their cattle businesses.
That's why NCBA has a staff of 15 in place in Washington, D.C. year-round. And it's our job to make sure that we're working each and every day and continuing to build the relationships with these members of Congress and ultimately know that every time they cast a vote, we're watching. And we're going to judge them accordingly and make sure that when they go to the floor to vote on a bill, that they're thinking about the National Cattlemen's Beef Association and all the cattle producers back home.
In Washington, I'm Brian Baxter reporting for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.